Josh, do you have a place you'd like to return to? Maybe Chernobyl or?
Chernobyl is probably the one place I think I wouldn't return to. Not because it wasn't amazing. I think, in all places we've been to in Destination Truth, it's one of the most memorable places for me that we've been to. Just the scale of it is incredible. I think before I went to Chernobyl, I thought of it as a place that there's going to be a reactor and a couple of empty buildings. It's really an entire city. It's, apartment building after apartment building, a hotel, a civic center, a carnival,
The carnival's going on.
They set up a carnival just before the accident. I'm not sure I think it opened the day before or 2 days before, so there's a huge Ferris wheel and bumper cars, and it's like being in a video game. I mean, you walk street after street, block after block, and it's like this empty world that you can go into any room, and if you go into these apartment buildings and you push open a door to a room, it's like there's clothes in the closets and food on the table kind of thing, and people just left and never came back. And I wanted to take all sorts of things, but everything's, irradiated, so it's like...
You glow for weeks.
Yeah, like in the school, there's like homework on the desks from that morning, or newspapers from that morning, but it also, it's a place that you can visit now. They're doing... you can go in for an hour or two, kind of tours and stuff, but to go for the amount of time that we did and kind of bushwhack around into these buildings, it's just not very safe. And so I think for me, it was a really scary place and a very sad place, but I don't think I would go back there. I think I would, in a heartbeat, love to go back to the Himalayas, and I would love to go to Tibet. It's a place we've never been to on the show, but we've been near there, so to return to the Himalayas to look for the Yeti. Island of the Dolls is a place that in Mexico was a really fun episode. And we went back this last year to the Haunted Forest in Romania, and we were going to either go there or the Island of the Dolls, because those are the two episodes that we get the most kind of people that want to,
Yeah, that was you guys that did it, because I get asked all the time, when you were in the Island of the Dolls, I'm like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, right. It's because Jael was there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd love to go back there, and to Jason's point, probably 1,000 other places. I think for us to go to these places and do an investigation, it kind of scratches the surface. We're trying to do a credible investigation, but we're also making a television show, so we're only there for a limited amount of time. So I don't know that we ever really give these places their due in a night or a couple of nights. So I'd love to go back to most of them.
I would like the Lobo Zone episode to be.
Yeah, that was all good. Argentina anytime.
Now, Ryder and Josh, there were some rumblings about something that's sort of in the beginning stages that's going on, and it's kind of like a Destination Truth style trips. Maybe we can go along with you?
That is kind of a early stages thing. Last year, I kind of got a bug that I was going to try to organize some kind of adventure travel type thing. It didn't materialize this year. I hope it'll materialize next year. We've had so many people come to us over the years saying, how can we be on Destination Truth? Will you do a contest to have a fan or a viewer come with you on an investigation? And we have tried to do that since the beginning of the show, and it just hasn't been feasible. It's an insurance liability, and it's been hard to get the channel to integrate that. So, it's something that we'd like to do outside of the show. And for me, travel is a big part of my life, and beyond the sort of investigative stuff, getting people excited about travel and engaged with travel is a big deal to me. So it's something that is still in the early stages, but I think hopefully will materialize this next year. And to find opportunities to organize kind of trips, maybe to some of the places that we've been to on the show, or to other adventure travel destinations around the world. So that's kind of a stay tuned answer, unfortunately, but hopefully it is something that we get off the ground soon.
All right,
Get
so
to
start
eat
saving.
lots of bugs.
Yeah,
Start
anybody wants to come eat bugs?
Come eat bugs.
Blue eggs and yummy things. Now, speaking of travel, since that's a lot what you guys do, you're traveling, you have lots of frequent flyer miles. Jason, do you have any travel tips out on the road that went over your travels that you think, oh, people would benefit from this knowledge?
Oh my gosh, travel tips, travel trips, travel tips. Wear comfortable clothes on the plane. I don't know. I always wear. It's funny. Everybody always get mad at me. I don't know why they get mad at me, but I have these ridiculous robot felt PJs, and they're just I'd wear them at the airport every time, and I thought it was great. I'm like, this is normal, I'm finding comfort. Everybody's like, oh god, embarrassed for me. So I'm wearing these
robot.
Robot, yeah.
What does that mean?
Like robots,
Robot.
That was more of a song. Yeah.
Wait, they got robots on them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a new thing.
They had animatronic Elvis on. Like run through the airport really fast. No, straight up like cartoon robot pajamas. So, I mean, those are my go-to airport clothing of choice. So I'd recommend those. Like, long story short, yes, wear robot PJs.
What do you got for travel tips?
Well, also you have John wearing comfortable Cosby sweaters.
Right.
This guy, John, he has the biggest sweater collection you've ever seen in his house. Like, I'm not even joking. He has a whole closet dedicated to ridiculous sweaters. It's amazing.
Puts Bill Cosby to shame.
Yeah.
Travel tips. I would say right now there's so much research you can do on the internet about any location that you want to go to, and you can read reviews and you can find the cheapest and the best, but don't over-research. That's the biggest thing that I can say is get the bare bones to your trip, but don't over-plan it. Don't plan every single minute, every single day of your trip, because you're going to find a place that you love and you're going to want to stay and you're going to want that kind of flexibility. So plan the top 5, 10 things that you really want to do, but don't really tie yourself into a real tight schedule where you don't get to breathe and you don't get to relax and really enjoy where you are. I think that's really key to, especially any international destination, because it takes longer to get to places than you think it does. And then when you're there, you end up wanting to do things that you didn't even think were available to you, you know? Proposing on elephants or renting roller skates. You never know what's available.
I could do 2 hours right now on travel tips.
Rent a car that works.
Rent a car that works. Third tip. I think for me, people in America don't travel as much as perhaps we all should. The percentage of Americans with a passport is like 23% now. And there's a couple of really good reasons for that. There's less vacation time in America than most industrialized countries in the world. But I think another big barrier that people feel is this financial barrier. They can't afford to travel. And I really wholeheartedly reject this idea that travel can't be affordable. I think it's in some ways a smokescreen, or it's a fear that people have. They think that if they are going to go somewhere international, it's going to be hugely expensive. There are a lot of ways to travel very cheaply. And is the gentleman here that we were talking about the airline credit card earlier? No, he's not here. I do a talk at the LA Times Travel Show every year about how to sort of game, the system a little bit with this stuff. And a great place to start is an airline credit card. If you just spend the way you normally spend right now, but you have a credit card that's giving you miles on a particular carrier, you don't have to spend any more than you're spending now. You can, within a year, if you spend kind of as much as the average American kind of spends a year in groceries and gas and things like that, you can probably get yourself enough miles for a trip, at least in the United States, if not beyond. And in a couple of years, you certainly could get yourself a free flight almost anywhere in the world. So I just encourage people to use the tools that are out there for planning trips now. There's an incredible amount of information on the internet. And realize that if you really put some time into planning it, you can travel very cheaply. So.
Oh, is it me?
And comfortable pants on the plane.
With robots on it.
Tips, travel tips. No, I don't really think about traveling a lot. I just go. I mean, that's good advice right there, man. Just go. No, I bring way too much stuff. Try to minimize what you're bringing, because I love how Indiana Jones just has his hat and his knapsack. It's like, but not me. I bring everything I might possibly need, but then everyone comes to me later and says, "Well, do you have this converter? Do you have this or that?" I'm like, "You didn't know it was a different voltage here." So I have to take care of everyone else anyways. Bring a first aid kit of some sort, and did you say Pepto? Yes. Yes. Lots.
Medic, yes. Yeah. Pepto and Cipro. Always in my pocket.
Well, we're going to open up the microphone to you guys now. If you have any questions, you want to come up to the mic.
I was wondering if you guys had any supernatural events that happened before you get into investigating, that was significant in your life that led to you investigating.
Go ahead.
No. Please.
I did not.
I grew up in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley, and I grew up during this time of UFO sightings called the Night Siege. And it was, everyone was seeing these triangular
Sounds fun.
lit crabs.
I grew up in the Night Siege.
It was actually quite beautiful. And no, my grandfather and my uncle had both had a sighting of this unidentified flying object, and it was really interesting for me. You know, being so little, I would go out there and just expect to see something, you know, as quickly as they did. And I think I've spent a lot of time, you know, staring at the sky, and it's really kind of set me up for being able to do those things and follow those mysteries like I do on Destination Truth.
It's kind of funny. I started doing paranormal investigation probably when I was in middle school, and at that point it was just your typical, you know, juvenile investigation, going to the cemeteries, the local legends, which was fun. I just wanted to see something so bad. For about, I think, like 10 years, I didn't see anything, didn't experience anything. So even now, I consider myself a skeptical believer, but total skeptic. And then it wasn't until I moved out to LA and in my apartment, I had something happen. It was a reoccurring experience, probably happened about 15 times in about 3 months, where I'd wake up in the middle of the night. It wasn't sleep paralysis, you know, I could move everything. I would just wake up, I'd see a shadow move across from the wall, across the ceiling down. Blinds were shut, no light coming through, and then my bed would start shaking. Yeah, no fun.
And it was multiple times?
Yes, it happened about 15 times in 3 months. Oh my gosh, that line got huge. Sorry. But, and being like a total skeptic, I'd get up out of bed, and I wasn't scared, I was just like, what is going on? I'd get up out of bed, like check everything, go check, make sure no one's coming to the elevator. The next day I'd check earthquake reports, like everything, but it was always the same sequence of events. And that kept going on and on. It happened in a hotel room where we broke down. And then make a long story short, because it's a long story now. Woke up with a name in my head, Roberta Page, really strange name. I'm like, what is this? Didn't think anything of it. Decided to look it up. A woman had died in the apartment building a few blocks down, or whatever, named Roberta Page a couple years before. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But then what was weird is after I found that, all activity went away. So that was kind of the moment I was like, okay, something's going on, and I want to find out more about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know? I've had experiences, but some of them are like really kind of personal. You guys think I'm crazy. No, I did have. I've seen at least 3 different UFO objects. One of those occurred far before the show started, and the ghost hunting stuff that I used to do, but nothing like I've seen on the show now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.